All right, good afternoon, everyone. We've made it to the end of day 3. Thank you so much for all of your energy and attention over the last few days. I hope you learned a lot, met a lot of new people, reconnected with others, and just found out more about Liferay. I want to take a moment to thank all of our guest speakers who made this event possible. Dr. Vijay Gurbaxani, of course, Keith Corbin from Comerica, Perry Lombard from Genworth Financial, David Gibbs, HPE, Takamoto from Rockwell Collins, Mark Grannon from Forrester, and of course, Carol Hart. I was spending time with Carol backstage before her talk, and she was telling me that when she turns 80, that she's going to be one of those grandmas that say whatever she wants and whatever she feels like. And I thought, I think she's already that person. I was also thinking, well, this is kind of a heavy topic to end a conference with. And I felt a little bit bad because, we're in New Orleans. We're here to have a good time. We probably stayed out late last night, had some drinks out on Bourbon Street. And now we got to think about this. And really, I think a lot of us, we care about things like how do we end human trafficking? How do we make a difference in this area? And yet at the same time, when you think about the last couple of days, we've been asking hard questions like, how do we compete with Amazon? For me as the leader of this company, I'm worrying every day, how are we going to compete with Adobe and Salesforce? And so it's kind of cool to hear what Carol's doing, but how do we relate to that? And one of the reasons I asked her to speak about her organization is that, digital transformation is big. Competing with Amazon is big, but human trafficking is bigger than that. And all of you in this room are much more qualified to tackle the challenges that you're facing in your organizations than the Harts were to do something about human trafficking. And yet, over the last 16 years, they have consistently, passionately, and relentlessly tackled this problem. And so I wanted you to take that inspiration. The challenges you face are daunting, but they're non-insurmountable. There are other people in other areas of life that have done something far more difficult, and you are far more well-equipped than they have been to do that. The second thing that really stuck out to me about their story, and Carol talked about this a lot, is just the need for collaboration and the need to understand the problem you're trying to solve. I was struck recently talking with one of the members of the Zoe organization, and she was telling me that as they've started this work in the US, based in Southern California, they've faced some resistance. They're meeting with LA County officials, they're talking to some faith-based organizations who have been trying to tackle this problem for a long time in Southern California. And Zoe's been operating in Thailand for a long time, but they're kind of new to the scene here. And there's kind of this well, who are you guys and what do you know about this? And are you really gonna help? Because a lot of people say they wanna get involved, but they don't really know what they're doing. And in talking with them and building that relationship, Zoe demonstrated how deeply they understood what it takes not only to prevent trafficking, to rescue trafficking victims, but also to restore them. The way that this played out was when they were sharing the designs for their new safe house in Southern California. It was very evident from the way that it was designed that they understood the different phases and the different activities that they needed to do in order to get those children as close back to normalcy as possible. And it was really that credibility that opened up the doors for them. And now they're actually working with the Department of Family Services. They're working with some of the faith-based organizations in South LA because they have that credibility. And one of the themes of this conference has been, as IT leaders, we really need to build that credibility with our stakeholders. And I really encourage you, I know that this is something that's probably easy to say, but when you want to kind of question your marketing group on, do we really need that additional SaaS solution? When you want to kind of get your business on board with some of the requirements you have as IT. I think it'll go a long way to show that you do understand the problems that they're trying to solve. And then finally, one of the big questions a lot of people ask us at Liferay is, what makes you guys different? Why should we choose you over Adobe, Sitecore, Salesforce, Drupal, however many competitors we have? And to be honest, I don't think I've done a great job of telling that story or articulating that differentiator. We wrestle with the risk of appearing to be kind of self-serving or patting ourselves on the back when we talk about things like what we do with Zoe. But this is really, after, I don't know if you've been here for 5, 6, or 7 symposiums, this is still who we are, and this is still what we're trying to do. Every time, you've heard from Sharmila in the past, every time she closes a subscription, that's helping her fight trafficking with her organization. One of the organizers of this event, Michelle Hoshi in our marketing department, she actually is part of the foster system. And one of the ways that Zoe wants to collaborate with people outside of their organization is to possibly transition some of their kids, once they've been restored, into foster homes of families that they trust. And so your success as our customers, your being able to achieve your goals in your digital transformation is what makes Liferay successful. And that gives us the resources, the means, and the energy to keep doing what we're doing with Zoe, with Sharmila, with some of our employees, and so many of the other organizations that we're working with. And I want to bring that full circle because really at the end of the day, it's not just about nonprofits. It's not just about kind of doing this kind of work. I was talking with Sam last night, and she said, I've got 110 girls that I've rescued, and maybe about 60 of them are going to go to college. 50 of them, for various reasons, they're not going to be able to go. Can we train them to do telemarketing? Can we train them to do some kind of a skill? Because once they're 18, once they get older, they're going to have to take care of themselves. At the end of the day, we need healthy businesses. We need jobs and careers. We need there to be more options for the people in our society that are at a disadvantage. And having healthy, strong companies that are competing well in the marketplace is going to make more of those opportunities available so that fewer people have to turn to or be caught up in the kinds of things that Zoe and others are trying to fight. So our passion and our goal is for you to be successful so that we can bring this all together and leave this world a little bit better than how we found it. So with that, I want to thank you again for your time and attention. You are the reason why we exist, and we're really grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Thanks very much.